Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. I'm Gimli, and tonight my guests are Sweet Jesus of Nazareth. It's Brian Potter, a.k.a. Cunty McCuntface, a.k.a. Danny the GFP. Hello, fat man.
Someone on Twitter has changed their username to Cunty McCuntface.
What, because of us?
I don't know if it's because of us, but he's definitely done it.
Fair play to him. Obviously likes you.
How's
your week been?
It's not been. I've been getting out. I was up at 11 the other day.
Shit the bed?
Yep.
Lovely stuff.
Mostly corn though, because I'm on a mostly corn diet.
Nice. Next up, property tycoon and eating top boy. It's Andrew Fife. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Gimli. How you doing?
Oh, missed you.
I've missed you boys as well. How's it all been without me? You managed to keep the ship sturdy?
It's a disaster. It's not worth doing without you here.
No, as Dido would have sung, we've gone down with the ship.
Jesus.
Next up, the podcast answer to the Just Eat app. It's Raj Patel. Hello, Raj.
You've thrown him. You've done him.
Yes! It was the end of the season, but I've broken him down.
It only took you 38 games, but I'm stumped.
How many?
Hello, everyone.
How many toppings?
9. It was a thin crust pizza, but by the time they put the toppings on, it was a deep pan.
He's had so many toppings on it, they've had to spread it over 2 pizzas.
Yeah, I know. I'm absolutely stumped. Anyway, how are you, Gim?
Yeah, not too bad. A bit happier now.
Yeah, it's the last one for me for this season, I think. So let's enjoy it tonight.
Well, you could be on next week because it's a free-for-all, but we'll announce that later. Right, and finally, so world famous, he now has his own brand of sauces. It's Geoff Arsenal.
How the devil are you?
Not too bad. Will we see those sauces advertised over the summer?
Yeah, not for me, mate. My sauces are completely wading now, mate. I can't be bothered having all the aggravation. What is the point?
That's very true.
It's true, though, isn't it?
We will see a bit of Blocky Balboa, though, over the summer, I'm sure.
You know what? I've been off Twitter for a little while, to be honest with you. I cannot be bothered arguing with people anymore, or even just like trying to explain how I fit. It's so boring, mate. Everyone should just get behind the team, win, lose or draw, no matter if it hasn't even got a manager. We should still support the team. It doesn't matter. Just get on with it.
Exactly. Well, positivity tonight, gentlemen.
Yes.
So with that said, we're going to go over to Danny, who's going to butcher some more names with all the scores from across the board and a lone watch.
Oh, there's no point doing the lone watch. It's just it's pandemonium. That's the only way I can put it. The under-21s, I don't know if any of you watched this game the other night, it was kind of impressive. We played, because I've been saying all season, top 2 go up. Seems Sockaway are talking out of their bottom. Top 2 don't go up. The top 1 went up, which was Derby County. And then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th all play 1 game each. And then the winners of those 2 play in the final, which was held at Arsenal. He said Highbury then. And we played Aston Villa, the under-21s. Hepburn Murphy, to be sure, scored in the 10th minute. And I thought, oh, here we go. It's all over. There's going to be tears. And then, and is it Callum Willock? It's not. I think it's Chris Willock. Scored on the 36th minute. Went in for half-time. They got a rollicking. Come back out. Stefan Mavidi, 64th and 87th minute. Oh, top division back there. Like a boss. There you go. The main reason we won it is because we had Santi Cazorla playing, which is a bit nice. Coquelin played, Chambers played, and René Adlier was brilliant. Bilic was really good. Peggy Lulu, and someone called Moore. Oh, that's even one of the long dreadlocks. He was quite good. Nabry on the bench didn't get used. In fact, we only brought on 2 subs. So we're back in the big time, back in the first division.
Yes.
I know. It's almost like it's unreal. And the ladies, I'm not sure if the ladies are playing. It's going to have a little ticker like that because I've been busy. We had some fantastic questions this week. Oh, hundreds of them. No, the last time the ladies played was 0-0 against Birmingham. The under-18 season was over before it began. Injury-wise, I think we've only got Mertesacker. Oh God, there's 5 injuries. Oh, of course there is. Danny Welbeck, meniscus tear, 9 months. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, knee, 1 month. Doesn't really matter. They're not going to be back. Oh, 2 weeks for Per Mertesacker, so he won't play last game of the season. Oh, Mesut. It says hip, non-specific, 2 weeks until return. Oh, that's a shame. And Carl Jenkinson, still cruciate ligament, another 2 months till he's back. So there you go. Was there anything else I needed to cover there?
Was Zalalam? No.
No, I don't think they played. I think the Scottish season's over now.
Well, it was over from pretty much the first 10 games.
It certainly was. Just looking here. And he's played 21 games in the league this season, which is always nice. They played on the 1st, no, I didn't think so. Last played 1st of May, and they drew 2-2 at St Mirren. They had a shit end to the season, but they'd already won the title. They had 2 wins and 2 draws. I mean, 2 draws and 2 losses. But their next game, final game of the season, Scottish FA Cup final, it's Rangers v Hibs. And playing up front for Hibs, remember a young Irishman called Anthony Stokes? Do you remember him?
Yeah, I certainly do. Rubbish.
Yeah, he's on loan at Hibs from Celtic.
And that's why he plays in Scotland.
They're both... Actually, the 2 teams got to the Scottish Cup final are both from the 2nd tier. There you go. So that might be a game worth watching for the LLM fans.
Yeah, no.
No. And there's nothing else to say apart from poor old Debuchy got injured and he's now out for the rest of the season in France, which is probably 1 game, and he's out for the Euros as well, which isn't very good. Nicholas Bentner got a free transfer from Wolfsburg, so he's on a free. Never know, Wenger might sign him back, stick him on a couple of million a week. Szczesny is doing brilliantly in Serie A with Roma. I think they won 3-1. And he's had the joy of playing with Francesco Totti, the legend. Oh.
Lovely. Shall I?
That's it.
Yeah, good. I'll kick this on then. We'll kick off tonight by talking about our 2-2 draw with Manchester City away. So for his thoughts, we will go straight to Andrew.
Any time of the day.
At some point.
What are you doing, Fife?
Oh, he's got a mouthful of caviar or something. We should use this point in the podcast to out him for having the cheapest season ticket.
Boo.
And the cheapest microphone.
Jesus.
And the cheapest laptop. And
Oh, hello. Someone's reared his ugly head.
What are your thoughts on that, Raj?
Well, on Fife, on 200 grand a year.
That's bonuses alone.
The cheapest ever season ticket at Arsenal. And therefore
against modern football. And he still moans. You see him all them protests, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
And he took the piss out of Mo for you spend, we spend. What's it all about, Andrew?
I'm a man of the people. I can't afford to set up in the gods like you, Raj. Sitting with your celebrities. I'm down there mucking it up, getting stuck in, giving us and whatnot.
Raj has to sit up there because then he's only 3 man steps away from the concession stand, isn't he? He's got to be first in queue.
Concessions.
Concessions.
He's been with old Sean Connery.
I'll have you know that the longside lower tier are the most sought after seats, really.
Oh.
There you go.
Only because they're cheap. Andrew, thoughts on City?
It was a pretty nothing game, to be honest. I mean, ultimately we ended up with a good result. I think City realistically should have won. They were probably the better side on the day. It's not often actually you see Arsenal go. I know obviously recently we've had some infamous wins where we've had a lot less possession, but it's rare to see us actually having a worse pass completion rate than someone like City. Which I thought was quite interesting. I didn't think we're up to much. We were completely outmaneuvered by their first goal by Aguero. It was a touch of magic from him, and he's by far the best striker in the league. But he left El Neni for dead there, who I think should have done better for that goal. I also think El Neni should have done much better for the second goal as well. Actually, I thought Gabriel stood off. El Neni let De Bruyne run right through him. And again, check another goal from outside the area. For saying that, though, both our goals were lovely. I mean, Giroud found himself in acres of space, and he took his goal so well. A guy who hasn't scored now in 20, 21 games. He looked like he was banging form, and he was really up for it. And you saw that in the second goal as well, where there was a great bit of movement between him and Sanchez, and that assist really, typified a good performance of him. And he was probably my Arsenal man of the match. De Bruyne overall was superb. Although it was quite worrying at times. We were just lacklustre. Without Ozil, we weren't very creative. We couldn't get into the City half enough. I thought Iwobi was especially poor. I'm not trying to dig him out because I know he's young and it's another big occasion for him, but he wasn't really up to it. Aguero, obviously the free kick was brilliant. Boney hitting the crossbar. I think De Bruyne put one just wide. And then, down there, and Walcott should have done much better. So, I mean, obviously the result itself was good in the end. You take a 2-2 draw on the face of it, but I wasn't overly impressed. And but it's not been a great end to the season, has it? So
no. And I do want to talk about Giroud because he's had his fair bit of stick this season. I know, Danny, you're not necessarily a fan, but Raj, I mean, we're talking about the club moving on to bigger and better things, building on for next season to try and win the league. Can we do it with Olivier Giroud as one of our strikers?
As one of the strikers, yeah, but not as our main striker. I've been saying that all season. I've got nothing against Giroud. And I've said a million times before that he is playing to his best level, which is not the level that we need to push on and, make a major challenge on the Premier League. So we do need to find, and with Welbeck's injury now, we desperately need to find a top-class centre-forward. I don't know where we're going to find one. I'm not an expert on that, but we do need to find one. We cannot have Giroud as the number one striker in the club. He's not going to score the goals that we need to make a challenge next year, and we all know it's going to be tougher.
And Geoff, you were quoted on this podcast a few weeks ago in regards to Theo Walcott saying we cannot carry passengers if we're going to win the league. Does that apply to Olivier Giroud as well in your book?
You know what? I think he's a good squad player. Raj summed it up pretty well there, to be honest with you. I've said it as well. I don't think he's a centre forward that's going to win Arsenal the Premier League, or be in a team regularly that's going to win a Premier League or the Champions League. We do need to go bigger. We do need someone that's got pace to run in behind. I mean, I think we had. Obviously, we've got that with Danny, but he hasn't had time to really, he keeps on going in and out, and obviously we've got all these injuries. Another injury this weekend that he received. So, but hopefully, he's got to find a proper natural centre forward that's got loads of pace, that's a good finisher, and that can head a ball and hold the ball up. But problem is, everyone else is looking at the same problem player as well. But Raj summed it up really, really well. We do need someone else different apart from Olivier Giroud. I don't think he can be our main striker and win the league.
No. And Danny, I'm pretty sure I know what your thoughts are on Giroud, but if you'd like to enlighten us.
No, you seem to think I don't like him.
You call him the French lamppost.
Hugh Wizzy.
Is that the term of endearment, is it?
Hugh Wizzy made that up. I can't take the credit. No, what I get annoyed with is on Sunday, it was like Wenger said to Giroud, off you go, son, play as a striker. And when he plays as a striker, he is brilliant. If he did that every game of the season, I reckon he'd get 25, 30 goals a season, all competitions. I mean, maybe even more, maybe 35 a season. But far too often, Wenger will want him to try. How many times do you see Giroud covering at right back, covering at left back, been on the line for when the other team are taking corners? When like Ozil or Sanchez will go forward, he'll have to go back into their position. That's no good for him. I don't want Giroud to do that. He plays with his back to goal. I don't want that. I want him to go out and be an all-out striker. And you saw with the nod down he had for the goal at for Ozil. That was world class, that nod down. And he had a fantastic game the other day. He got a goal and got an assist. I have no problem with Giroud at all. My problem is with Wenger asking too much from Giroud. It's a little bit like, I made this analogy before, it's like when Alan Smith was at Arsenal. Absolutely fantastic, one of our best strikers ever. But the moment Ian Wright turned up at the club, his role changed from being a striker to being a creator, and he went from scoring best part of 20, 25 goals a season to scoring 3 or 4 goals a season because he was made to make the goals for Ian Wright. And that's a similar problem with Giroud. Don't do that. Just let him go and play his natural game. Because if you watch him when he played for Montpellier, he was brilliant. And that's why we signed him. But he's not allowed to do that at the club. But a couple of positive things about the game is that at one point when when Welbeck went off, I think... when he went off, we brought on Wilshere. And then we had a midfield three of Wilshere in the middle, Ramsey left and Elneny right. And at times, they were attacking as a midfield three, almost like, when the back four all went in a straight line. They were doing that. And then one of them would then break off and go into the middle or go and attack a little bit more. Then the other two would close up to block it off. And then when Wilshere would come back in again, they'd open up, he'd slot into the middle three again. And I thought that is really nice to see that without having to have someone playing in the Ozil hole. It shows how more creative our midfield was. Iwobi had a really quiet game, but the kid's 18. He's going to have seasons like this for the next couple of years, where he's going to have a couple of good games and a couple of quiet games because he's learning the entire time. Remember, he's never been out on loan. All he has had before this is youth team football, and even that he hasn't had much this season because he's been on the bench for the first half of the season. But The point I think Raj made, or no, actually might have been Geoff made, we are knackered when it comes to the summer because say if there's a world-class striker who can get you 50 goals a season, right? Man City, Chelsea, Man United, maybe even Liverpool, they're all going to be ahead of us in the pecking order. They're going to pay more money for him, they're going to pay more wages for him, and that goes for every single decent player that is out there. We are going to be 5th or 6th in the pecking order. Whether it's Wenger's fault, whether it's Kroenke's fault, whichever one it is, I don't know. None of us really know. But I know that if there are any world-class players out there in any position, we are not going to be the first to be able to sign them. Because even if we go, all right, we'll pay you £50 million for this player, one of those other teams are going to go, 60 million. And then what do we go? All right, 70. Because they'll go, all right, 100. We're never, ever going to be able to compete with them.
But why is our wage bill so high if we don't pay good money, Danny?
No, we do pay good money. I've no idea why Sanchez and Ozil chose Arsenal over any of the others. I don't know why they did that, and we were led to believe that would happen. One marquee player, one audacious stunt every single season. Well, we did it the first 2 seasons, and last season we didn't, and I'm not sure if we're going to do it this season either. I hope we do, and I hope Wenger is, because we've already been linked with the that French left back who's going to cost us about £9 million.
Guerrero.
Yeah, and Xhaka, who's going to cost us about 28 million, and then you got Rob Holding, that 18-year-old central defender from Bolton. They want 5, we've offered 2, so that means Chelsea's going to come in and buy him for 8, or something like that. But they're the only 3 players we have been strongly linked to, and you've seen how the business can be done. Like Hummels has just gone from Dortmund to Bayern Munich. He's the Dortmund captain, and he's gone there for I think 30 million quid. I mean, that's we've got one of the questions coming up later. What centre back would we want? Well, that's the one I've been saying for ages. I like Subotic, I like Hummels because I'm a Dortmund fan. But we're just, I don't know why they don't want to come here. Maybe they don't feel confident. If you're going to go, and that's another thing you've got to take into consideration, it's almost a known fact that Wenger's going to stay next season, and it might be his last season. So then any players are going to come in, they're going to go, well, I'm coming in to join a club where the manager's only going to be there for 1 season, and then am I going to be part of the plans next time? I mean, that's got to be something they take into consideration, isn't it?
Certainly. We will carry on talking about the striking situation. As we've said tonight, Danny Welbeck got injured and it's been announced that he will be out for 9 months. I believe that came out in the press yesterday. So I'd like to talk to you about that because it was well known we bought him from Man United and he hadn't really had many injuries at Man United, if any at all. Is it a little bit of a head scratcher how he's come here and played so little football, and they are big injuries, isn't it? I know Dom's probably absolutely scowling at me as he listens to this, but is it pretty much the same injury in his right knee as what was in his left knee, Raj?
I don't know whether it's the same injury, but I've kind of spent a long time actually excusing our physios and our medical staff about all these injuries and stuff, and I've actually said quite openly that I just think it's just bad luck and we're cursed. But you've got to start worrying and wondering why this is happening now all the time. I mean, I feel for Danny Welbeck. I mean, he's fought hard to get back into the team. He was doing quite well actually last few games, and if you all saw the game on Sunday, you just by looking at his face, you knew this was a bad one, and he knew it was a bad one. I didn't realise it was going to be as bad as 9 months, but it's horrific for him. But you've got to start asking questions now of our medical staff because Shad Forsyth's now been with us for 18 months. Is that right? And it just seems like nothing's changed in some ways. And I was actually quite confident or hopeful that he would change things around. Now, I might be naive, and Dom will probably have a go at me later on when he listens to all this. But Geoff, what do you think? I mean, do we have to start asking questions about this?
Well, this question's been asked maybe for the last 5 or 6 years, isn't it? The same question every time. I think I heard Wenger say in an interview, I don't know, I think it was maybe 18 months ago now, that they had independent people come in and have a look at everything from start to finish, from the playing surfaces at the Emirates, the playing surfaces at London Colney, all their training routines, their warm-ups, everything from start to finish, looked all over it, and they haven't found anything that they can point the finger at and say, right, that's where your problem is. we always seem to think it happens to us because obviously we're just looking at our players, but I'm sure it happens all over the leagues, mate. If you look at it, I know we seem to. I agree. I think myself. Well, it's quite bizarre that we have the same injuries to the same most important players every single year, and it's so frustrating. But I really don't know. I mean, I've asked the same question to people that are involved, and they just say, well, it's just down the luck. They don't do anything any different, than what they've done years ago, so to speak. And everything's better now. Everything is improved. Their training routines have improved. Their diets have improved, and everything all across the board. So there's no real reason why. I mean, Welbeck's one was another impact injury. I think he was just unlucky, wasn't he? You see the way his joint stretched inwards or outwards, whatever it was. You could see it happen in the slow-mo. And sometimes you get away with that. Sometimes you don't. De Bruyne had done the same thing a few weeks ago, but he come back very, very quickly. He was lucky. They had a scan on De Bruyne and he was fine. Unfortunately, I've had a scan on Danny's and it's 9 months. It's so frustrating.
It is. It means that, unfortunately, we won't get to see Danny Welbeck kick a football in 2016.
But on the good side, he will be back for the Champions League games where we get knocked out by Bayern or Barcelona. Back in time.
Well, I mean, we say that, but let's be honest. Every time we talk about a player's injury, I would be extremely surprised if we see Danny Welbeck back any time next season, or certainly right towards the end. I think we'll be out of the Champions League by the time he's back. I mean, you just look at our record. It's not, Wilshere has been a month away now. For what? Well, I know he's back now, but he was a month away for about 5 months. Welbeck was, a couple of weeks away last September. Santi Cazorla was supposed to be back in March. Sanchez was back late. Coquelin was back late. We always massively underestimate the injuries, and I'm not sure if that's because we just can't predict injuries, or because Wenger, for some reason, and I'm not suggesting it's bad because I don't understand why, but maybe he downplays them in the media for some reason. But I think that 9 months.
Sorry, mate. That is something that is definitely up for debate. We do seem to have our players out for longer periods. Their recovery, the rehabilitation, seems to take a little bit longer than other teams. Maybe that's what we should look at.
Oh yeah, maybe it's right. I mean, I was chatting to a guy, chatting to a guy before the game a couple of weeks ago, who's very good friends with a guy who writes for the Arsenal magazine. And apparently they'd been telling Wenger back in October time, that Jack Wilshere was effectively, his body was fucked back then. And Wenger was still saying in the press, no, he's 2 weeks away, he's a couple of weeks away, even though apparently he was being told internally it's not. So, and this isn't me having a pop at Wenger, by the way. I don't understand the logic fully why perhaps, if this story even is true, by the way. I'm not saying it's 100% true. But even if it is true, I'm not sure why Wenger would say that in the press. Maybe he has his own motives as, in his own mind and his own theories about why he'd rather say that. I'm not 100% sure. But, it definitely is one up for debate. I remember a couple of years ago when Chamberlain got injured on the first game of the season. Against Villa, he's playing really well, and we came back and said he's going to be out for 6 weeks. He ended up being out for 7 months. And sometimes it's extremely damaging to the team because we don't go out and buy a player. Remember when Vermaelen was out for the best part of a year? We were right up there with a good chance to win in the league, but we didn't buy a centre back, so we played. I think was it Scalacci played or I can't. Someone dog awful had to play instead of him. And and it does hurt us. We really need to get a grip of this because in the transfer market we're relying on players who aren't going to come back.
Johan Giroud that played in his place.
Yeah, I mean probably, but it's probably someone shite, right? But it does hurt us as a team if we can't if we can't fully predict or have some kind of grasp on injury. It's not just a couple of weeks. We're talking about months on end where we're getting it wrong. Months. Think of how much that costs us. It's just not good enough. And I'm not going to sit here and like, as Geoff says, there is a big debate about what it is, and they've had experts and they've had third-party consultancies come in. I know Keown's given his word saying that the training ground's too hard and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not an expert, I don't know, but I do know that it's something we need to get a grip of as a club because it is affecting us and it is affecting our ability to handle the transfer market and basically manage our squad.
This is why it's so imperative that this year we do fill up a little bit and we do have top quality players. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about players 14, 15, 16, 17, in squad numbers. that we haven't got to go down to the bare bones of 13 and 14 players. We need to have quality right the way throughout the squad. Because then, once one drops out and he's going to be out for 2 or 3 months, we can get another player that goes straight in there, and hopefully we can build a squad. We've said it for the last 3 or 4 years now. We're nearly there. People are bored of it. I'm bored of it. But I do still think that we are nearly there. And if we could just add 2 or 3, again, same old story. It's just hopefully he gets it done this summer.
But Geoff, you say add 2 and 3. I mean, we've got players the likes of Rosicki that are going to be assuming gone. Flamini, Arteta. Where do you place them? Do you get youngsters to come in and replace their spots, or do you think that you have to buy an alternative, say a squad player to go in that player's place?
I think he'll breed he'll bladder through from youngsters. We've obviously had relative success with Iwobi coming through. I think there's still maybe another couple that may come through and fill it up this season.
John Terrell?
Yeah, maybe he's done okay, isn't he? He got the player of the season, didn't he? Where is it? Yep. Birmingham, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But I do think he'll add 3. He'll add three top quality players. And if he, I'm not sure that he likes bringing 5 and 6 players in one window. If you get what I mean, I think there's too much. These players are obviously going to need to get settled in, and if there's 2 or 3, you can maybe handle them. If there's 5 or 6, then it might cause a little bit of chaos. I think that's his way of thinking. So I think he'll maybe bring 3 in. And maybe bring a couple of youngsters up. We have got some good youngsters there. You've seen them if you've been watching the under-21s and the under-18s and that. You've got some good players there. Chris Willock, players like that. I think if he can do as well in top flight football than he has in the under-21s and stuff, mate, he's going to be a top player. Let's just hope he can reproduce it into the big end of the team.
And Raj, last week Dom came on the show and he said, in regards to next season, he thinks that there might be a little bit too much work to do. As I've already said, there's players going out. Will you replace them? Has he got the funds to replace all the players that will go? Add the stars to go with it. With the TV money, players costing more money. Do you agree with Dom that there is too much work to be done to even consider us being title challengers next season?
I've thought that, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're buying players, you've got to keep building the squad year on year out, and we've kind of let's be open about it. We have missed out on a couple of transfer windows. So is it too little, too late this summer? I don't know. I've got no idea. It depends on how much he's prepared to spend. But you're absolutely spot on. It's going to be an absolute free for all this summer in terms of money being spent by all the clubs, and I think. £30 million players are going to be, all over the place. That's what you're going to have to spend now. You might have hesitated about spending that 2 years ago, but that's going to be an average price for a decent player now. And a £30 million player this year would have cost us £25 million or £20 million last year. So I think it's going to be really, really tough. And I think Arsene Wenger has to use his own personality to attract some of these players because, I honestly don't know, but it's going to be really tough, and I just hope we get these players in. But we've got to get centre forward in. That is an absolute priority now.
And I was going to say I agree with you, Raj, because in terms of we're talking about players like Lukaku that are being touted around this window anywhere between 60 and 80 million. Well, 75 million bought you a Luis Suarez a couple of years back, and would you even consider them, in the same kind of ballpark?
No, you don't. But you're going to have to spend that money. You are going to be forced to spend that money. And I know Arsene Wenger has, over the years, been reluctant to spend money that if he doesn't think that the player's worth it, he's not going to spend the money. But he may have to rethink how he looks at things now, because I'll promise you, West Ham, Stoke, Leicester, they're all going to go out buying players. You'll know that Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool Klopp's going to go on a massive shopping spree. That's what I think anyway. And we don't want to be left behind. And that's my biggest fear, is that we've got to match that. And if it ends up us having to pay 50 million quid for a player that we wouldn't have even thought of paying 50 million pounds for 2 years ago, then so be it. It's not about it's market value, given that's all it is.
Andrew,
have you seen Lukaku came out today and said he wouldn't mind joining Arsenal?
I'd take him. It makes me look foolish, probably, right. But I think he'd score goals for us. I think he'd score loads and loads of goals for us.
I agree with you. And his brother was reported today saying some nice things about Arsenal as well.
That was actually my joke there, Danny.
Maybe.
Honestly, I think there's a Rizzler flavour between him and Giroud, mate. He's got a little bit more pace. That's it. Honestly, I don't. He's okay, but he's
much more powerful, Geoff. Geoff, he's a strong forward player. He's what we need. We've got the pace, but there's only so much pace can do for you. Someone that's going to really rattle a defence and get into a battle with the centre back. That's what we need in a striker. Giroud isn't. You watch Giroud. You've only got to touch him, and he's fucking down. You know.
I don't agree with that, mate. He gets battered every single game.
Giroud, Geoff,
he's got stronger.
Jeff, would you agree that we may be forced to pay inflated fees for players this summer?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but Wenger's not. If Wenger sees if let's say like a player like Kun Aguero come to light, and he was 26, 27 years old, Wenger, in my belief, would pay £70 million for him. That's not a problem. It's about the quality. If the quality's there, and it's not £100 million, I think he'd pay it. I don't think there's a problem in that. It's just he's got to make sure we've got to get the right quality. Because we can't keep on blowing money.
How many quality centre forwards? There aren't that many out there, are there?
No, exactly. You're right.
Pick one, broke the record for the most number of goals in a Serie A season. Normally you get 18, 19, 20. He's got 33, and the last time anyone got that was 1958-59. Did you see five trumpters, not trumpters? What's it called when you do a trick on someone? What do the youths say? Did a trick.
Punked.
He punked us. He was on about Lukaku's brother said something nice.
Yeah.
Not Lukaku. And then I said, his brother said something nice as well. And then he went,
It was clickbait. What it is it's clickbait.
We've been done.
Yes, I have owned you and pawned you, man.
I've been pawned.
Back to I think Tom's point is very salient. We do have a huge rebuilding job this summer. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be all first teamers, but even if you look at the squad, there's Gibbs is potentially going to be off, so you need a new second choice left back. Jenkinson and Debussy are both probably off, so you're going to need a second choice right back. I do think we need another centre back. I'm not convinced by Gabriel whatsoever, and I don't think Chambers has come on much in the last 2 years. And I think Mertesacker is looking a bit shaky these days. Even Koscielny's not his finest. It looks like Wenger's pretty keen on Chaka in midfield. So there's a midfielder. Centre forward's now imperative with Welbeck out, and as Raj rightly says, that's gonna jack up the price of any centre forward we're looking at. And also, it'd be nice to have a winger who can actually score goals. I know Sanchez has come back a little bit now, but on that side we do have kind of a paucity of goals from the players who do play in just behind Giroud. I think Danny, you were mentioning about Alan Smith earlier, and it all changed when Ian Wright came. Well, at least Alan Smith had someone to assist to. Who's Giroud realistically got scoring many goals off him this season? Sanchez has scored, 17 league goals, and he's done all right. But you look at the other side, Walcott, 5 Premier League goals. We need someone. We need some more creativity, more goals. Ozil isn't going to get you that many goals. So there's another player. We've got Arteta, Flamini, Rosicky leaving, potentially Theo, potentially Ox. There's talk of West Ham coming in for them. And we didn't sign a single outfield player last summer, so there is going to be pressure on the squad. There is going to be, we are going to need some new innovators. I know, obviously, Wilshere will be back now, but you can't rely on him too much because of his injury. And you kind of got to kind of hope with him that he's going to be good. So I do think there is quite a big project to be done this summer in the team. I know a couple of years ago, after the World Cup year, he went and signed 5 players in the summer, and then Gabriel in the winter transfer window. And we did bring out Nenny in the winter, to be fair. But I do think it's going to be a pretty big job. And I hope Wenger and Gazidis are up for it. It seems there's been a lot of talk in the press lately about Xhaka, but let's hope that's not just smoke and mirrors with season tickets coming up. I think it was ours to win this year, and we kind of have to take a step back and look what needs to be done in the team. But there's certainly going to be some big movements, I think.
My overall assessment, just to start with, again, I agree with you, Andrew. It's the entire spine of the team, isn't it? You need a proper centre-back, someone that's going to come alongside Koscielny and absolutely boss it. I don't think Gabriel has shown it in bits, but I don't think he's quite quite there yet. I mean, the Xhaka talk is promising. Again, I hope it's not smoke and mirrors with the current renewals coming up. And someone like Lukaku would be perfect. Danny, where do you stand with all of this? Do you agree that it's the entire spine of the team that needs an overhaul?
I think it's the confidence. I think it could also be tactics. I think far too often this season Wenger has put the shackles on people. That you've seen that Sanchez has been playing out of position for me. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. I preferred to see him play on the right, and I wanted a Royce or a Draxler, that kind of attacking left-sided player, to come and play there, and then to balance it up, because he's had Theo, he's had the Ox, he's had Ramsey, he's had Campbell. I mean, that's 4 players playing on the right-hand side. I was thinking last night, what's our player who's played the most number of games this season? And I thought, it's probably going to be someone like Monreal, isn't it? And that's just a sad indictment of our club at the moment, that the only person who seems to be getting any kind of regular run in the team is going to be, because of injuries, because of form, because of suspension, is going to be our left back. Where, I mean, on the right hand side, like I said, 5 players are playing there. You should go straight away. All decent teams, you think back to the Arsenal teams of old, you knew what the starting 11 was. And we don't have that in for many reasons, like a lot of it's injuries and a lot of it is other things that maybe we can't control. But I think the whole attitude of the club needs to be changed, and it's not going to change. I don't see Wenger going, right, my last season here, I'm going to pawn all the silverware and I'm buying everybody. That's not going to happen, is it? We're just going to have the same thing next season. Next season is going to be, mark my words, the hardest season that the Premier League has ever seen. More teams are going to be fighting for that title than we've. Normally, it's 2 or 3 every season. Occasionally, sometimes it's only. Well, it used to, for ages, it's just Arsenal, Man United, or it'd be Arsenal and Chelsea. Next season, we've got so many new teams. We've got new managers. Everyone's going to have more money than you can shake a stick at, as my mother would say. And it's just going to be mental. But if anybody, we've been talking a lot about that Granit Xhaka bloke. If you go to bergkampwonderland.co.uk and go and have a look at the blogs, our very own Drew in America, he did a fan, because he's our Bundesliga. He's knows all about it, and he's done a fantastic blog on it. OG says it's good, and OG knows. So yeah, people go and read that, because ever since now that we've been linked with Xhaka, everyone's going, oh yeah, I've been watching him since he was 2 years old. No, you haven't. You lying bunch of tits. So go and read Drew's blog. It's I think it's only 1 or 2 blogs ago, and then he's gone into real detail about how he's got on in the Bundesliga, what sort of player he is, because he's the Borussia Mönchengladbach captain, I think, and he's a bit of a mental case, and he's more of a nut job Coquelin than anything else. Also, you notice that Coquelin has been dropped for the last few games. What's going on with that?
That's very true. But we spoke about when the Granit Xhaka stuff broke. I mean, there was a few of us that had heard little bits that the club might have been interested, and that there was interest there. But when it hit the papers, it has been in the papers, little dribs and drabs over the last couple of months. We spoke in the group about maybe the inflated price of what Granit Xhaka was actually going to come for. And I think, Raj, you were part of the conversation as well. You agreed that we rather pay well over the cost of what a player would be than not see any players come in at all.
Now he's got the cheap microphone. Stingy prick.
I'm just while Welsh is trying to figure out how to unmute himself. I've got the name for this week's pod. It's called Chaka Khan.
Lovely stuff.
Haven't they quoted about £35 million possibly for him, €45 million, something like that?
Yeah,
that's the kind of money you're gonna have to pay. I'm not an expert on these players. I've never seen them play and stuff. I did read a nice article on the Goonosphere blogs about him, and if a lot of that is true about him, then he's going to be a bloody good player. But I won't be able to judge him until I've seen him play myself with my own eyes. But yeah, you're going to have to start paying this kind of money. It does seem a lot of money for that kind of player, though, and you wonder how much money is going to be left over to buy the kind of, as I said, the centre forward that we need. So. Maybe we are going to spend £100 million this year, because if we get in for 35, we're still going to have to buy 2 or 3 others.
Talking of centre forwards, there's Mauro Icardi at Inter Milan, who's obviously a very good player. I think he said today that he doesn't want to leave. We're linked with Morata from Juventus, who's obviously, he's got his buyback clause. We're going to have to probably, if we wanted him, we'd have to buy him through Real Madrid, who look likely to buy back his contract this coming summer.
I think they're going to buy him back and then flog him straight away, because I think they get him for like 30 something million, and they can get 50 for him.
Yeah, I mean,
sneaky.
It could be interesting to see what happens if Man City drop out of the Champions League this week. I mean, Man United are rubbish, but if they drop out of the Champions League, what would happen? Would Aguero want to stick around for UEFA Cup? I'm not sure. It could be quite interesting whether Pep can keep him there, and if he was to leave, would that kind of kickstart one of the? We always talk about the famous domino effect of strikers. We'll see. Are we still interested in someone like Benzema? I'm not sure. His stock seems pretty low right now. Do Barcelona potentially want to sell him and bring someone big in if they miss out on the league again to Barcelona? They're going to want to make a big statement this summer, aren't they? So.
And Geoff, we'll pull it over to you now. A lot of our fans have talked about Xhaka this week, and I've seen a lot of them moan that his disciplinary record isn't the best. I believe the Bundesliga is the best league in the world, not for red cards or yellow cards, but for fair play. And he has a few red cards this season. A lot of our fans have said about his disciplinary record, is it a case of you can't please them? A lot of our fans, because we've always said on this podcast, we said it for a long, long time, we need someone that's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck, a little bit of a nasty bastard. Is Xhaka going to be that man?
I've never seen him play. I've got to be perfectly honest with you, Gim, so I can't really comment with regards to, But he's going to come into the Premier League. It's very, very physical anyway. He's going to have to learn as he goes along, isn't he? If you're going to get penalised all the time, keep on getting red cards, that's not going to do you much good, because you're not doing your job. You're not on the pitch playing football. He's going to have to tone it down a bit. But I'm right. I agree with you, what you say about we need a little bit of bite in there. We need a little bit of nastiness. We have missed that over the last half a dozen years. Even since Paddy Vieira went, we haven't really had that someone in there to bite, and to wind the players up. Sometimes they need a little wind up every now and then, a little tackle to let everyone know, come on, we've got to get hold of the game here. I mean, and hopefully the lads is he a captain? I think he's a captain, isn't he, as well?
He is.
Yeah, hopefully he might be a little bit of a leader. Well, you get someone with a little bit of steel and who can open his mouth as well. Sometimes that's what you need to just get you all together, especially in big games where, West Ham, we're 2-0 up, 5 minutes before half-time. Anyone, any experienced footballer should know how to manage a game. Right, just tuck in, keep it tight, go in at half-time, let's see what the gaffer says, and we go from there. What do? They get 2 goals away. We mustn't keep on letting... I mean, that's, we dropped 2 points there. It was ridiculous. Those are the times, those are the little games, the little 2 points here and there where we make stupid decisions. We need a leader on the pitch. They're hard to come by because, you look at right across the leagues, there's not many leaders really. Not like the old school, every single team used to have one. Yeah, nowadays, we're all looking for technique and quality. Sometimes you do need someone in there who's the glue that glues them all together and, has got a little bit of steel. He'll open his mouth and he'll pull you about. If you make a mistake, he'll tell you about it, Maybe that's the type of guy that we need. Hopefully it is.
And Jack Wilshere looked like he was going to be that guy, but unfortunately injuries have hampered him the last few years. Danny, we saw him come back and play a fair few minutes against Man City, obviously replacing Danny Welbeck. I thought he had a fairly decent game. I thought he did well. What did you think?
I thought he did, yeah. Straight away, you could see you had someone on there with a bit of passion, with a bit of spunk, as our Aussie friends like to say. He was up for it, and I'm surprised that he didn't get on the pitch. And we played against Norwich. Didn't play at all, did he? I think we only brought on 1 or 2 subs in that game, and I thought the whole point was to get him match fit, because you could see that he wasn't match fit, and I don't think Wenger intended him to come on that early. He probably would have wanted to bring him on at exactly 68 minutes. It was nice to see him come on. He's making attacking runs. When he did play the game before the West Ham one, before the Norwich one, he came on and he played in the Ozil hole. Now, I thought that was quite telling, because if you've got Ramsey on the pitch and you've got Ramsey and Wilshere on the pitch and no Ozil, you'd automatically think, well, it's going to be Ramsey that's going to go and play in the hole, wouldn't you? Because I know that's Ramsey's long-term, he thinks that's his long-term future position, whether it be Arsenal or Real Madrid. Either way. So, and then he didn't, Wilshere went and played in the 10 role, no, because he wears the 10. but he shouldn't be wearing the 10. He should be wearing, for me, he should be wearing either 8 or 4. But that's just me and my numbers thing. It's nice to see him, and as soon as he's on the pitch, it automatically cheers me up because he's so old school Arsenal, isn't he? He's almost got the spirit of Tony Adams in it. He's playing for the club, he doesn't care. But one thing I did notice, he wasn't running with the ball and holding on to it as long as he used to, which I think has so many of his injuries have come because he'll have the ball, no, keep it. Oh, now someone's scythed me down, snapped me in half, and now I'm bloody injured again. So he was giving the ball away a little bit as well, but it's fantastic to see him play, and just really warms the cockles of my heart when I see him on the pitch because he's my favourite player.
Andrew, seeing as you piped up, we'll go to you. Where do you see Jack fitting in next season? Hopefully he will have a longer run this time. Hopefully injuries won't hamper him next year. Do you think that a fully fit Jack Wilshere really will benefit this team?
Yeah, I mean, Jack Wilshere is undeniably a top quality player. I mean, there's obviously question marks around his physical body. You know, he is injury prone. That's not as, I know Dom was probably, he's probably scratching his ears, scratching chalk listening to this. But he is an injury prone player, and sometimes his mentality has been questioned. With stuff like getting into fights and that's a square. But he's undeniably one of the most talented, if not the most talented player Wenger's brought through the youth side. After Ashley Cole, and we need to be channeling that bit. I mean, if you bring in someone like Xhaka, I mean, I've got limited. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an expert. But what I've seen, they're very much, both left-footed central midfield type players, combative. Are they quite similar players? I'm not too sure. And is it now got to the stage where Wenger's buying someone because he's basically biting the bullet on Jack and saying, right, no, we have to. Is he replacing Jack in the squad? And obviously with Jack, he's not going to go, but you kind of almost have to consider him a luxury player now because you can't rely on him. You can't just say, right, this is where Jack's going to play next. You remember a couple of years ago when we didn't sign a holding midfielder and Wenger came out and said that Jack was going to be the holding midfielder, and he played about 10 games all season. So. He is undeniably adding quality to the squad. It's just how do you apply that? How do you get the best of him? And right now, it is heartbreaking seeing him barely playing. But and that's maybe why he's gone out, and that's maybe Wenger's being a little bit more ruthless now. Maybe he is being more ruthless with the players who are injury prone. I was hoping last year we were going to bring in players because I think as Geoff said earlier. That the players are out for longer. So we kept Rosicky on for an extra year. He's not even been on the bench once this season. That's someone we could have had a place. Arteta's barely played. Because all has been out for a very long time. So where does he fit in? I'm not sure exactly in that team because I don't think I'm not sure if Wenger even sees him as a definite first team player now. Maybe Xhaka's going to take that place and. As we said, none of us, going to sit up and put our hands up and say we watch a lot of him. But, we do need a player who's going to put the boot in, as Geoff said. Look at on the weekend, El Nani was left for both. And I'm not digging El Nani out. Maybe it's not his position to be making these kind of tackles. But Aguero's ghosted past him on the first goal. And then Aguero's ghosted past him for the second goal. And that's where you need someone who's going to stop play, break up play. Man City committed nearly double the number of fouls that we did, but that's part of the game. You need to make tactical fouls, and you need someone who can break down the opposition whilst having a bit of class about them. A little bit like Emmanuel Petit used to. He was an absolute blocker, and Gilberto as well. We need someone of that mould, who can destroy the opposition, but also have a bit of class in the middle of midfield as well. So.
And Danny, it's ironic we come to you because we're on a fact hunt. I know we've got. We'll start off the newly crowned segment for next season. Chaka stats.
Hey. Right, he is 23 years old. His birthday is the 27th of September. That makes him a Libra, very balanced, so I'm told. I only know that because that's what I am, Libra, not balanced.
Someone told me a rumour you were the Chinese year of the pig.
Oh, oink, oink, every year. Shut up. Right, he's 6'3". He's a man mountain. And he's, agent-wise, this is a little bigger. He's got the same agent as Messi, as Higuain, as David Alba, Ramos, De Gea, Mario Icardi, Gundogan, Marchisio. I'd have all of those players.
Mauro Icardi, not Mario.
Shush your nonsense, young man. Chicharito, who's had a wonderful season for Leverkusen, who we've been linked with. Aaron Robben, who's on his way out of Bayern. Anyway, the bit that I thought was important, in his entire career, because he spent 3 years at Basel, which is El Nenny's old club, in his entire career, he's getting a booking every 4.5 games. It's 243 games, all competitions, 56 yellow cards, and 7 times he's got a second yellow and been sent off, but straight red cards only once. So there you go. You tell him off, he gets annoyed, and then ends up getting sent off again. But I mean, only 1 red card. That's according to transfermarket.com. So if this is wrong, we wash our hands completely of the above stats. And he has played 243 games, and he has scored. Can't be right. Yeah, he scored 23 goals. Most of that, a lot of those come in when he's played in Switzerland. But in the Bundesliga, 107 games, 8 goals, 2 assists, 29 yellows, 4 second yellows in the sending off, and then 1 sending off on its own. And 6'3". That's what I think we need. How long has it been since we've had a bit of steel in the midfield like that? Someone who's not going to fuck around. I bet he's got elbows and
Paddy V.
That's it. Well, maybe Gilberto as well. Yeah. And that was the other thing I was going to tell you. It's I think if you click on compact, there you go. His entire career, 92 games as defensive midfielder, and 73 as central midfielder, 4 as attacking midfielder, and 1 as left midfielder. Well, if he turns out to be shit, he'll be playing a lot more games at left midfield, which is the Arshavin Podolski graveyard, as it's technically known.
Right then, we'll move on from the Man City game.
Before we do, sorry, Kim, can I just jump in? Have you talking of combative midfielders? Coquelin is definitely not going to the Euros. France have just announced their squad. There's no Coquelin, no Schneiderlin, no Ravois, no Lacazette, which was a big one. No Valbuena, no Benzema, no Ribéry, no Ben Arfa, who's having the season of his life. And then they're taking some absolute donkeys. They're taking Sissoko, Lassana Diarra. They're taking Gignac. Do you remember him? He was the overweight striker years ago.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, no Lacazette.
Our own Chris has just tweeted it's terrible that Lacazette isn't going there, because that means he's going to cost less money, because normally after a good Euros you'll be worth a lot more, so that means there's more chance of him going to a shit club.
Incredible.
Oh, let that shit club be us.
Oh, we're a shit club. Come to us, Lacazette.
Yeah, Lacazette.
How's Lassana Diarra getting in there above Coquelin?
He's had 1 good season. Is he at Marseille now?
Yeah. He is, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, Sissoko's been rubbish at Newcastle.
He got relegated.
Did they bring the Liverpool fella, Sacco, for the Meds?
No, he's not in there. They've got Varane, and they've got Mangala.
Is Sagna or Clichy in it?
Sagna is, yeah. Sagna's in there, and then the other right back, is it Jallet? He's in there. Is
the horse-faced lesbian included?
Who's that?
The double denim horse-faced lesbian.
The cash-hungry horse-faced lesbian.
Nasri.
No. He retired from French football after 2010, I think.
He retired from football in fucking 2010, didn't he? Useless cunt.
He retired from fucking knowing how to dress himself in 2002.
Payet's in there, though. Martial's in there. Payet, Coman,
Payet
Giroud.
deserves it, though.
Yeah, he does. But then Ben Arfa's had the season of his life. He's linked to Barcelona, isn't he?
He might be on a free to Barca. He's single-handedly made that club brilliant. Can't remember what club it is, though.
Right, Danny.
Yes.
You're going to hit us with some Twitter questions. We've got 23 minutes.
23 minutes to go. Right, we have had some absolutely fantastic questions. Well done, everyone. There's 2 weeks in a row, and only a very few of them were stupid. So start with the stupid ones first.
Do you know why, Danny?
Why?
Because I was up nice and early this morning to prompt people into action to get them to send the questions. Well, you were still asleep.
Yep.
Lazy fucker.
Oh dear. Right, Chaz Nuki Burden, sounds like a drink from Newcastle. Favourite pizza toppings, and I know who's going to answer this because only one man who's an expert on the situation. Raj.
Thank you very much. Double pepperoni, chilies, anchovies, mushroom, ham, and red onion.
Well, apart from the ham and red onion, I agree with you there. That's quite nice.
Yeah.
I usually have triple cheese. Well, I don't eat pizza anymore.
With extra lard.
With all the extra gluten. Yeah, I have lard sticks in it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then what I do, I just get a pound of real butter and I roll it up in the middle of it so it's like a pizza butter sausage roll.
That's it.
I want to eat 6 of them and I'm done.
You have it as a calzone and just put 3 kilos of butter in the middle.
I'm eating lobster with Geoff tomorrow night and look forward to it.
Are you?
You're going to have lobster, Raj, yeah?
Oh, you're paying.
Oh, listen to yourselves.
Right, our very own John Welsh says, how many Mongs are now Xhaka experts despite never having watched him? We can have a guess on how many of these are?
712.
921.
Oh, I think there's going to be quite a few more than that. Right, our very own little Tom. Hello, little Tom. He has sent a question for Geoff. Now, I haven't proofread this, Geoff. Are you ready? It's a bit of an epic one, but it's Tom, so it counts.
Is it anything about tickets?
No, we wouldn't. No, we don't sink as low as to making accusations like that.
It's all right.
Right, it says, Geoff, you have gone on record saying that you believe Wenger is the fastest way to the title.
Yeah.
I actually agree with this statement because of the transition period that would come with a new manager. However, I also believe that a change in manager, if chose correctly, would be the fastest way to long period of success because, of course, Wenger would have to leave eventually and then we would have to go through a transition period. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with parts of it, but I do. Going back to the first point, I'll explain myself. You know what? Funny enough, I think Arsenal have got the best chance next year rather than this year because all those teams that have new managers, I mean, I think City are going to have a little clear out. I'm not sure half the players on the squad are Pep's type of players. He's going to have a little clear out. It's going to take him 8 or 10 games, I reckon, to get them thinking and playing how he wants them. Klopp, obviously, he's going to clear a few players out and bring a few players in. You go right through it, Manchester United, and then you've got the other teams that are going to spend as well. They're going to be bringing a lot of players in. I think Arsenal are really, really settled if we can bring 2 good players in. I do honestly think Arsene Wenger will win us the Premier League quicker than any other manager at the moment. Because any other manager is still going to take us, I believe, a 3-year period. I could be wrong.
What 2 players, Geoff?
What
2 positions?
A centre forward.
Yeah.
A centre forward and a right winger.
No centre back.
Well, yeah, if you can get a centre back, it'd be nice if you could add 3. But I do think that, it's funny enough this year, we've struggled to score goals, and that has not been Arsenal. We've always been okay, fine scoring plenty of goals, but leaking at the back. I've got an issue at the moment with Laurent Koscielny, by the way. He drives me fucking mad every time. When someone takes a strike, what is the matter with him? Why is he turning round? Did you see the first? He more or less let the ball come past him with Aguero the other day. What is that all about? Get front up to it and let the ball hit you in the face. What's the matter? I can't. He's done that about 10 times. I've seen it happen over the last 2 years.
Did it first game of the season against West Ham.
And it's vital. We can't, just get in front of the ball and block it. You see, I hate to say it, look at John Terry.
I was just thinking exactly that, Geoff.
He slings everything at it. He gives out balls away and everything, but you just look at the blocks he gets through. I want to see Koscielny doing exactly the same. Close the ball down, get to the ball as quick as you possibly can, cut down the angle, and take one for the team. Tosser.
Right, there we go. To get through all these brilliant questions, I'm going to give 1 to each of you.
Do quick fire, Danny. Do them quick fire.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Geoff, you said you're right. What's your thoughts on Sanchez? Do you think... I know you mentioned at the start your sources have dried up, but you're on a personal level, what do you think? Do you think he wants out? Do you think he's miffed? Or do you think it's just a bit of tabloid talk?
Sources haven't dried up. I don't care to share it anymore because it's too much information. Sanchez, I'll tell you what it is with Sanchez. I like him. He's a fantastic player. He's one of them players that can win you games. He's a game changer.
Yeah.
But I can also see why Barcelona got rid of him because he gives the ball away too much. And for a possession team, right, you need to keep the ball. You've got to keep the ball, keep it turning over, moving about. It gives the ball away too much. Simple passes he doesn't choose to take, right? I agree. He's got to keep the ball better if he's going to play for Arsenal regularly.
But do you think on a personal level, though, he wants to move? Do you think he's happy?
No, I don't think he wants to move. He's quite happy.
What about Ozil, Geoff? Do you think?
I was just about to say I couldn't say the same about Mesut Ozil.
Really? That's interesting.
He looks really disgruntled. The last couple of games I've seen him play, he just looks ultimately pissed off.
Not looking good.
Fair enough. Right. This next one, I'll give it to. I'm going to go through the list. Fife is going to get this one because he's next on my Skype list. From
Hello.
Pete, this is two people making the same point. Pete Goon, a friend of the pod. Do we need two strikers now? And Gooner Charlie George says, will Welbeck's injury force us into finally buying a striker?
Hello, Pete. Hello, George. Good questions. I think yes, definitely two strikers. Although I think, coming to Geoff's point, I'd quite like to see a natural centre forward and then a wide striker. Someone who can replace. I mean, Danny gave you both of those, but and realistically, I think we're going to have to replace Danny and also replace Walcott. I think Walcott's time's up now. He's almost insidious in the squad. He doesn't want to. He's not playing for the team. He's not giving everything. He's on a huge salary. Let's get rid of him and let's bring in, someone who's ultimately going to give a lot more to the team. Someone with assists, someone with goals in them. And if we can bring in a wide striker and a centre forward, we'll have done a very good job in the attacking options. Because as Geoff says, and I think we all know, we just haven't scored goals this season. And we're creating. We've got Ozil, we've got the best playmaker in the world. That's not the problem. It's about putting it in the net. And it's not just the centre forward; the wide players aren't scoring enough. So yes, we do need two strikers, one natural number 9, and someone who can play off the main man.
Jolly good. Right, another next in my list is the very own little Goblin. Right, this is another two people making a similar point. Michael Russell, to be sure, wrote this on a potato and chucked it through my window, said, do you think there should be a sort of fan thing for Arteta Rosicky for their last game? And also, Rich Beckers says, do you think Arsenal should make more of the final home game? Pre-game and post-game entertainment, #for the fans.
Well, have they been... Flamini, no. Rosicky, he's been here for 10 years, hasn't he? Yeah, he deserves one. I think in turn Walcott's been here for 10 years, he probably deserves one as well. I mean, what happened to the whole testimonial thing? I do believe if a player has been at a club for more than 10 years, then they do deserve one. So on that emphasis, on that logic, Rosicky, Flamini, no. You got.
He's been injured for 10 years.
So he's still been at the club. You remember the goal he scored against Tottenham in the 1-0? He deserves a fucking testimonial for that goal alone. But going back to the last point, I think after what Geoff said about Ozil, I think we will look at this season alone, and it will hurt even more in the future when we look back on it, because I think if Mesut Ozil goes and all those chances that we squandered not buying an outfield player, I think we'll look back at this season and we will realise just how close but so far we really were. Next.
Right, the next question is going to be for Raj. This is from Frank McClintock. I'm not sure if it's the very man himself. Why is the club so secretive regarding transfers? Are they purposely doing it? We look a bit foolish, to be honest.
I don't think we're looking foolish, Frank. I think it's the right way of doing business is to keep it to ourselves so that other clubs don't come around sniffing for the players that we're trying to negotiate for. And I think it's something that we've done for many, many years, and I don't think it will change, and I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I know Czech was wild, kind of we all knew about Czech last year, but more often than not, players are announced as and when they sign, and that's fine by me. Keep it nice and quiet.
Oh, well, there you go. Short and sweet and to the point. Right, you ready, Geoff?
Fire away, sir.
Your one is from James Cooper. Which Arsenal player will have the best Euro 2016?
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Ozil.
So I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think you've got to say Ozil, haven't you, really?
Yeah, spot on.
I think you're right, mate.
I know it sounds funny, but Giroudy's going to play every game for France, isn't he, in that role? He's got Griezmann behind him. He's going to be the main man for France.
How does he do at international level, Giroud? It's a different game, isn't it? You know what I mean?
He was being booed, though, wasn't he?
They stuck him out on the left wing in the World Cup for a couple of games, didn't they?
Who knows? I know Koscielny got a load of grief as well, didn't he? Because he gave away a penalty. And didn't he get a penalty and then get sent off about a year or so ago for France, obviously for France?
Well, they dropped him, didn't they? Because he gave away a penalty. They had to qualify they had to go through the qualifiers for the World Cup, and he gave away a penalty in one of the qualifying games. I can't remember who it was against. And so he got dropped, and they played Chaka ahead of him, and they finally realised how stupid that is.
Right, as I've got you there, Mr. Fife, the next one is for you from Ian Henderson. He says, what positions can you see Wenger strengthening in the summer? I think this is from Wenger's point of view. What do you reckon will happen?
I mean, from Wenger's point of view, it's hard to say because, you look at the last 2 summers, we don't sign a single outfield player, and the summer before that we signed 5. Well, we signed 4 if you take away Ospina. But I think he's got to improve the centre-back position. Whether or not he does, I'm not sure, because he's probably looking at Chambers and thinking, he wants him to come through. I read a report the other day that he's blocked moves for Chambers to go on loan a few times now. So maybe he thinks Chambers is the one. He's got to improve the right back and left back second choice positions, obviously. From a first team perspective, obviously he wants to improve that centre of midfield with Xhaka. And then, we need to do something in the final third. Wenger, let's not be, let's not kid ourselves. Wenger is an attacking manager. He likes expansive attacking football. He likes goals. And, how many times have we battered a team this season? We beat Leicester 5-2.
Newcastle, I think we had about 27 shots.
Yeah. But how many games have we actually had a high scoring aggregate? I think our highest win was Hull away in the FA Cup. We haven't been. There's not really been high. I mean, we've stuck 3 goals past Man U, which is brilliant. But high scoring Arsenal games. That was always synonymous with Wenger. We always, we'd score a lot of goals. I think Raj said earlier, it's unlike us to not score goals. And I think Wenger's not going to be happy. He's not going to want to see us, not scoring or, certainly topping the goal scoring charts. And, we haven't had a player who's been top goal scorer in the Premier League for a very long time. But we haven't even had anyone who's close. I think Giroud and Walker are both on Sanchez are both on 17. You look at the likes of Vardy and Kane up in the mid-20s, Aguero mid-20s. So, we do need to do something in there. And I think Wenger does desperately want to do that. And obviously it's tough. Everyone wants a striker. But, I do think it will be eating Wenger away, not having those goals coming.
I was doing Chris's pod at the weekend with Ross, and Ross was talking about how many games Kane has played this season. All competitions and for England, he's played 57 games. Who's making noises?
Not me.
Not me.
Jeff. Is them dogs?
I'm on mute, mate. Not me.
Fair enough.
I'm a professional.
Hey. Right, next question is from Gimli, from a man simply known as Jay. Do you think Wenger would ask Ozil and Sanchez about future transfers of who they would like to see at the club?
Quite simply, no. I think maybe if there was a young Chilean or maybe a German youngster, or someone in the Germany team, I think quite possibly he might ask about them, about how they trained, etc., personality, whatnot. But other than that, no, I don't believe he'll go to them and say, "Oh well, who do you think I should buy?" Anyway, that's a manager's job. That's what managers do. Maybe he should fucking step up and earn his $8 million a year, asking players who they want to sign, for fuck's sake.
I always thought that if I ever become a manager, because it's going to happen one day, the first thing I'd do is I'd get all the players in and go, right, what formation would you play and what players would you play in each formation? You just leave it with me. I'm not going to tell anyone. Just so you have some kind of idea on how they rate their fellow professionals and what position. They're going to so thick they're probably doing crayon and then eat what's left.
Well, didn't he find Thierry Henry? Because when Henry was at Arsenal, he wrote an article in The Sun saying we should buy Sean Wright-Phillips.
So how did that work out?
And then I think Van Persie, not when Van Persie tried telling Wenger who to sign the summer he left, but a couple of years before then, he told Wenger that we could get Van der Vaart on the cheap, and Van der Vaart actually wanted to come to Arsenal after talking to Van Persie, and Wenger basically told Van Persie, "No, I make the choices."
But that's the thing, that would you not think that Arsenal have a decent enough scouting network that if they identified a player, they'd know enough about him not to be able to ask players? I don't know. I'll just put that out there.
I don't think Wenger does ask the players personally.
Nor should he. It's got nothing to do with the players.
No, I agree.
Right, okay, next question for Raj. This one is from... I've gone and bloody deleted the name. Sorry, you'll know who this one is. It says, what does Wenger have to do to win over the fans, win the Premier League and or the Champions League? And while you're answering it, I'll go and find out who sent it in.
I can't speak for the fans because they've got opinions which are left and right of me. But for me personally, what Wenger would have to do to win me over would be to use the resources available to him which is basically the transfer kitty, to build a team that can sustain a challenge for the Premier League. And I'm talking about where we are there or thereabouts in the month of May, not March or February or January, but in the month of May. Because on a personal level, I've been to the last few home games, which I always do, but they've been nothing games really. And I really want to be going to a home game in May of next year, thinking, Christ, we need to score a goal here just to stay top or stay second or whatever. And that's basically, I think that's a reasonable expectation for me as an Arsenal fan.
Oh, there you go. That's short and sweet. And that question was sent in by Mr. Abraham Montefiero. Hey, fuck me. If I got that right, I'm going to win a fucking medal. Right, the next one is going to go to for Geoff. And have I deleted who this is from? From Thomas Longova. I might have said that right. Do you really believe Simeone is the right man? We'd have to change our entire squad, almost none with the Simeone attributes. Now, these isn't aimed at anybody, so I think it was aimed at everybody, but yeah, so
it's just a difficult one, isn't it, Simeone? I mean, he looks like he's doing a fantastic job at Atletico Madrid. There's absolutely no doubt about that, no questions, but he looks like another Mourinho to me. I'm not really keen. Listen, they win football matches. I understand that, but at the same time, I want to be entertained. Mourinho's teams, they used to set up sometimes not to lose a game rather than go and try and win a game. Whereas Arsenal, although we should get the balance right, and I think Wenger's trying to get the balance right, we always go and try and win the football match, regardless. Like we say, we go 2-0 against West Ham, we go flying forward with both the fullbacks bombing on. Simeone, Arsenal, it's not really for me, not at the moment, because that's another thing that I'm really concerned about. Once Wenger does leave, whenever it is, I do hope that whoever comes in does still play a similar type of offensive, attacking, football that's got plenty of quality about it. As much as I love George Graham and the time that we had him at the club and the successes was unbelievable. As soon as Wenger came, me personally, I can't talk for everybody else, it was an absolute breath of fresh air seeing us passing the ball the way we was passing the ball as opposed to the George Graham teams. But, it's each to their own, isn't it? But not for me. It wouldn't be for me.
Okie dokie. Right, this next one is for Mr. Fife. And where is it? From Kurt Ice. Who should be our captain next season, and who was our player of the season, and why was he player of the season? I don't know the answer to the last one.
That's interesting. If you look at who... So obviously, I guess we're all taking it as a given Arteta's off this summer. And then you look at kind of the people around him who've also taken captaincy when he's been injured or hasn't played, which is, most of the season. And, there's Mertesacker the vice captain. I think Santi Cazorla might be the third choice, or he certainly had captaincy. Theo Walcott has even been the captain, which doesn't say much about how commanding the position is anymore. So I think we do need a bit of fresh blood. Gabriel can't speak a word of English, so I wouldn't have him. I think Koscielny is a leader in so much as he is, he can be, and he started the season off very well. But, as Geoff said, is Koscielny in the right frame of mind right now? Is someone who's turning their back on shots? Is that the kind of guy you want to lead the team? Jack Wilshere feels like he could be a natural successor, but he can't hold down a place because he's injury prone. Ramsey could be a natural successor. He's always said, since he joined, he wants to be Arsenal's Steven Gerrard and wants to carry the team forward. But again, is he guaranteed his first team spot if we make a couple of changes this summer? I don't know. And, realistically, you don't want, like, Giroud up front being the captain. I know we did it with Van Persie, but that was because he was just, blindingly good and above the rest. And, Ozil's not a captain. Sanchez is not really a captain, is he? Monreal, he's Mr. Reliable, but he's not captain material. So I don't really see many leaders in that team. Czech, you could say he's naturally experienced. He's been there, done that. He could be a good shout. I don't think I've seen a goalkeeper as captain at Arsenal So potentially him, but the lack of leaders in that squad, it does worry me, and it's something Wenger is criticised about, which is good to see now. Maybe we get Xhaka, that will change that. And in terms of player of the season, there's two players for me who've been absolutely standout, and that's Mesut Ozil and Monreal. But I think I'm going to give it to Monreal because he's been the unsung hero for us this year. He's been absolutely quality at left back. He was an absolute shoe-in for the PFA squad of the year. I was surprised he didn't get it. Danny Rose has been great as well, to be fair to him. But Monreal has been absolutely outstanding. Left back's been a huge issue for us since Ashley Cole left. Clichy was never that good. He was hit and miss. Traore never came on. Gibbs has been injury prone. Santos was rubbish. And Monreal's come on leaps and bounds and made that position, his own. He's going to start every single game for us, and he's been absolutely quality. And that's not me taking anything away from Ozil. Don't get me wrong. I just think that Nacho Monreal deserves a lot of credit for the way he's performed for Arsenal this year, and long may it continue from him.
Damn fine answer, sir. Right, we've got one more question which we can all answer, but quick, a bit of a statement from Nicky Wilson. Sent it to me via DM. He says, was stripping William Gallas of the captaincy the biggest mistake Arsene Wenger has ever made? Have we ever had a player that criticises players and organises the team on the pitch since him? Yes, he probably shouldn't have gone public with it, but if Cesc, Flamini and Hleb had listened to him and defended more in that 2-2 draw away at Birmingham in 2008, would have walked the league. Wenger now refuses to bring in that type of player. Has anyone got anything to say about Nicky's point?
No. Not really. No, he wasn't much of a leader anyway, to be perfectly honest with you. And that game, we just got done by a dodgy penalty, if you remember rightly.
Wasn't that the one where somebody got injured?
Yeah, Eduardo got
right, and we got done late with a dodgy penalty. It was ridiculous, wasn't it?
And was that the one where Gallas was crying?
Yeah,
squatting down crying.
Yeah, idiot.
Gallas, I think he was a great football player. He was very, very good football player, one of the best. But captain, he wasn't. I mean, by the end, correct me if I'm wrong here, lads, but I don't think him and Kolo Touré were even talking to each other, were they? And he wasn't talking to Nasri because they fell out in the big World Cup hoo-ha. Him and Kolo Touré didn't talk with one another. Is that really a leader?
Oh, do you have anything to say on that, Gimli Raj?
Not really, no.
No.
Do you think he's got a point though?
No.
That he doesn't want strong personalities as captain.
God, we go on about all this all the time now. I'm absolutely
Can't wait for the summer.
Seriously, hand on heart. I'm going to go to the game on Sunday. I'm going to enjoy it. I've got some mates to see. And we'll have a bit of a laugh. But I will be personally glad this season is over. For lots of different reasons, some of which have been extremely toxic and negative, which I don't want to talk about tonight. But I think a lot of us just need a summer break and walk away from the Arsenal for a little bit and then come back refreshed and up for it in August.
Yeah, it's been very gruelling, isn't it? Huh?
I'm exhausted,
Yeah.
I mean, we had that protest the other week, and that was, there was a lot of stuff going on there, and then there's been stuff going on since. There's issues about the squad, there's issues about the manager, and I'm tired of it. And I've said my piece about every single subject on that, and I want a break. So I'm just going to go on Sunday. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to have a bit of a laugh with my mates. I'm going to hopefully get that 5-0 prediction right for once. Sanchez first scorer, by the way. Double points, Geoff. Double points.
It's a cheat. You want to tell them this is what you're trying to do to me? You gerrymander and everything. I'm way ahead on the predictions league, and because I'm way ahead, they want to make the last game double points. I mean, what is that all about?
Whoa!
We did it last season.
Well, you can fuck off with your miles ahead. You're 5 points ahead of me, Jeffrey. I can smell you.
Yeah, but what does that mean? That's miles ahead in layman's
I didn't fuck triple points. I'll catch you. Give
triple.
You need to get the score exactly right, and I've got to get Gornish. So the only way you're going to win is if I predict that Arsenal win and Villa beat us, right? And you've got to get Villa's score exactly right. Good luck with that.
Hey,
going back to what I was saying, I mean, surely Geoff and Fife, you're probably in the right. You probably agree that you just want a little bit of a break now from the game, from the club, and do other things for a couple of months, and then come back next year.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Go on, sorry.
I think we're all just whacked, aren't we? There's just been this season's just taken the fun out of it for so many people. There's so much infighting between the fans. It's so intense, and the atmosphere at the grounds is not enjoyable. The football we're watching is pretty rubbish. Relatively speaking, obviously I'm not going to be ungrateful. It's still much better than if you're a Newcastle fan. But yeah, I think we all just need a bit of a break. I think the team need a break. They're not playing for each other at the minute. I think everyone, it's just a sorry end to what could have been such a good season. I think we were just disappointed, and we all just express it in different ways, don't we?
I just want to go back to the time where we all just knew we were shit at the time, right? And we used to love the game. We just used to go there and have a crack with the lads and used to have a laugh and a joke. You weren't expecting fuck all. It's only when we started getting a bit of success, we're getting above ourselves. We're getting all these entitled people to think we're going to win the league. Just forget about it. Let's just all turn a new leaf. Forget about who's manager. Just support the team. Whoever's playing, it doesn't matter. What difference does it make? Enjoy it. It's what you go there for.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to on Sunday?
Cake.
No, Sanchez is bringing his dogs to walk around.
Yeah, me too. Me too, mate. I really am.
Bring yours, Geoff.
Tell you what, actually, I'm looking for, and the biggest, and it is an Arsenal thing. The thing I'm really looking forward to now is they've announced this Legends game, so they're bringing back. I think that's going to be really. So for the listeners who might not have who are living under a rock, we're going to have Arsenal Legends versus the Milan Legends, and it's not the Milan Legends of the Van Basten era, afraid, but it will be quality. I mean, Bergkamp and Henry up front, Lundberg and Perez. It'd be nice just to see. I don't know if Vieira's playing. They didn't mention his name, but it's just going to be a nice down.
And hopefully we'll all go there and support the same team.
Yeah.
Never know.
Sorry, I know I've been chatting a lot, but just one thing I thought about, back to the, I know it's a bit revolutionary to come back to the listener's question, but he also talked about big personalities that we had in the team who used to openly question and criticise other players. I think it was a couple of summers ago, we got rid of Alex Song, who was getting above himself, but the big one that summer, and the last captain we had who did that was Van Persie, and he got rid of him. He apparently, if you've read Theo Walcott's autobiography, I doubt many of you have because he's boring as fuck. But he said that, at times Van Persie had to be restrained from trying to punch him in the changing room.
Who?
Theo Walcott and Ramsey. He had that bust up with Ramsey. Walcott said he tried to punch him a couple of times at half time. He's good openly critical. So that's. I am openly critical now, and I think we do need more leaders and more characters in the team. But Wenger has had them. And it has, sometimes backfired. So,
once a cut stunt, always a cut stunt.
Right, before the final one that we can all give a quick answer to.
It's 9:05, Danny. I was supposed to be off here by 9.
If you shut up, I'll get on with it. I guarantee that if Wenger was leaving at the end of this season, there would be more than a couple of thousand people applauding him as he left the stadium, unlike Man City.
I thought we were going to talk about Arsene Wenger tonight. I thought it was Arsene Wenger free show.
No. Danny's actually made a really good point. That was actually quite sad, actually. As a football fan, the way they announced Pellegrini's leaving in January, whenever it was, and then and for him to be there being interviewed with his players in an empty stadium, it was horrendous.
Well, did they announce it before the game that was going to happen? Because I can't imagine.
All teams do a lap of honour, don't they? At the last home game of the season, and it's just honestly.
The same City fans. Remember when Mancini won the FA Cup? I think that was the year he left, and as he was given his talk, they were all singing about how they want Pellegrini in, as Mancini was literally saying his goodbyes to them after winning the FA Cup. Obviously, I understand Man City haven't had a good season this year, and but he got them to a Champions League semi-final, which is the furthest that they've ever been. He's won 3 trophies in 3 years, and he's just been a respectful man who's got his head down and got on with the job, and it's not an easy post there. It was completely disrespectful from a club who always bang on about how good their fans were in the days that they were back, down in Division 3 and they were getting 30,000, 40,000 at Main Road. And it's just, it was horrible to see. He's such a nice guy. And, but they've always been a bit like that, really. They did it with Mancini. They've done it before, so it's kind of got to expect.
So social media. Social media has killed the enjoyment of football.
Certainly bloody has. Right, final question from That Fly Gooner. What would your banter banner say? He says his would say, for fuck's sake, Giroud. Mine would say, shoot more. Anyone got an answer?
Yep, Mo Hader is a cunt.
He'd probably hold it with you.
That's harsh. I would have
Down dog.
Ever in the spirit of things, cunt someone off. We're nearly there, mate. Last couple of podcasts, let's do it. Be reckless.
Are we nearly there yet?
Judge me in May. That's what yours would say, Geoff.
Yeah.
How about Raj and Mr. Fife?
It would probably just be loads of swear words. That's all I do is mutter to myself.
Fuck football, sport for cricket.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've got any banter. I tend to just stew in silence. I think Geoff knows exactly how I react to games.
Yours would say, we'll work for cake or pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Pepperoni.
Mr. Fife, have you got one?
I'm out of banter at the minute, lads.
Are you? Yeah. Have you bantered out?
Yeah. No, I have
sad times.
I don't know.
That's made me sad, that has. Right, Gimli.
Or my banner would say, don't abuse my boy.
Oh, poor little Theo, shagging his sister, whatever they're doing in the garden. Are they related?
No.
Ah, fair enough then. Carry on, son.
Right, all that's left then is some predictions, shout-outs, and that's it pretty much. Just a little bit of news about what we're doing for the final one of the season. And yeah, that's it. So we'll do predictions then, and that's for Villa at home. And Geoff, Arsenal, spotlight's on you, governor.
I think you should go first.
No, fuck off. You're top of the leaderboard, son. You do it.
Okay. I think you know what the score I'm going to predict.
Go on.
Would it be 2-0 Giroud by any chance?
2-0 Giroud, of course.
That's all right, because you only get 1 point for the win.
Yeah.
You've got to get the scorer as well. So it's still all to play for. I am going to go 3-0.
You can't be to Arsenal. It's got to be to Aston Villa, mate. I don't know if you realise that.
You've got to pick the draw or Villa.
No.
He's a half-wit.
Take your shoes off and get the point.
No. Because if I get the right score and the scorer, then I get the full points.
I still get 1 point, you divvy.
If Geoff just gets the result...
How many points is he ahead of you at the moment, Gim?
5.
Right. So if what's the most you can get?
15.
5.
Are we doing triple points?
No, we're not.
Double points.
Double points.
Oh, well, don't worry, Geoff, because they're not going to beat us, are they? Let him have it.
What do you mean fucking beat us? You're sucking off Dom at the bottom of the table.
Oi, mate. That call across broken glass.
You do realise he's over there in Canada calling you his Sheila?
Hey, mate. Oh, as long as he comes and gives me a back rub.
Then, Kim?
All right, I'm gonna go 3-0 Giroud. Okay, Danny?
I'm going to go 7-0, Giroud to score all 7. He's going to break Tony Woodcock's record. I get 100 points if I get that right. Do you know that?
5?
I reckon Arsenal are going to win 13-0. First goal by, let's say...
Check.
No, Sanchez. Let's be realistic, boys. And in the very last minute, Swansea are going to get an equaliser against Spurs. And we're going to overtake them in the league.
Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle. Yeah, sorry. Swansea is Newcastle. Maybe someone really shit at Newcastle as well, like Colback. And we'll,
honestly, I would
snatch it from them. St. Tottenham's Day on the last day of the season.
That would make my season. Actually, that would cheer me up no end.
Well, we've got to win 13-0.
No,
only if they draw. If they draw, we need to win 13 or 14-0.
What about
Yeah, if they lose and we win, we overtake them. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, we're
go and have your money on that. You know it's going to happen, don't you?
We're 2 points behind them, aren't we?
I'm telling you, that's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, we're 2 points behind, and they've got a goal difference better of 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Finish us off, Raj.
5-0 Sanchez.
Not for the first time.
Raj has spoken.
Actually, I'm changing mine to 3.
Oh, here we fucking go.
I'm changing mine to 3-0 Sanchez.
Are you?
Yep.
You going for that extra point, which will be worth 2?
Yep.
Fucking look at you.
Knock yourself out.
And the listeners at home and in the tractor.
Off Arsenal. Who do you think you are coming on there, winning it twice out of 3 years? Fucking liberty.
I want my trophy back.
Now he gets a brand new trophy, doesn't he?
We're your 2-0 Giroud. Piss take.
It's done him so okay so far this season.
Absolute-
Well, 3 years.
Absolute piss take. It's a liberty. What's he got? Does he actually say to you, if I can't be bothered to reply to you over DM, just call it 1-0 Giroud?
Yeah.
I've got a default scoring.
But that's That's fucking cheating for a start.
That's
the
a
rest
system.
The rest of us never had a default score.
Mate,
One week
mate.
I had Walcott. The next week you said, Walcott scored 1-0 Walcott. Oh yeah, we've changed it to Ramsey this
Gimli,
week.
did you know that out of your 3 that you've got 100% correct, 2 of them were the standard 2-0 Giroud?
I am bleeding from my arse.
Because you didn't bother giving me a prediction, so I put down the standard 2-0 Giroud, and both times you got 5 points from it.
You're a twat, Sweetman. As soon as this season is over, you're fucking done.
You're going to do me over?
Sore loser.
I'm going to send Davies up there. I'll just send a pigeon down and give him the message to put a hit on you.
What a sore loser that kid.
I'll tell you what, it's all gone fucking Bertie Bassett.
A lot of you, you're fired.
We want our podcast back.
Hey! You talk, we vote.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work, does it?
Shout outs. My first shout out goes to Phil Lloyd1, who is PhilLLoyd1, and Ernie Max, who is ERIE_MACZ, both of which have bought shirts for me this week at Arsenal Car. Go and check out the new business. Lovely stuff. Thank you very much. Both top gentlemen who have listened to this podcast since the early days. So go and give them both a follow. They are both lovely, lovely gentlemen. Danny.
My one's going to go to someone who I think might be a PSV Eindhoven fan, so he's obviously in a good mood this week, so he pipped Ajax to the title, and because it says it in his bio, Humilde. How would you say that? Humilde? Humilde? Huh?
What?
Hey? It's at HUMILDEOLOGY. Good luck remembering any of that lot. He's only got 40 followers, and he's a bit of a cheeky monkey. He makes me smile, so I actually follow him. He's one of the chosen few. 385 at the moment.
Wonderful.
There you go.
Honoured to be one of them.
Yes, he is.
Raj?
How about Pizza Town, Pizza Hut?
I was going to say Domino's Pizza, Papa John's, Pizza Hut.
I will do a random one. Here we go. It's going to be...
Let me guess, Mark King.
The same person.
God love you, Mark.
How about SL Guna 1? He's all right.
Nice fella.
Yeah, he's
Again.
Good.
I think that's another person that's bought shirts off me. Thank you very much. Andrew?
I have a shout out to Dennis Bergkamp for his birthday the other day. It was good to see the Iceman back in business. I have a shout out as well to Jimmy Trader. I haven't seen him on my timeline in a little while. Hope you're well, Jimmy.
I've been interacting with him. I told him he should do a podcast with you about futures.
And then I will have a shout out to someone called Akil Mohan, who tweeted me the other day saying, "Will you just shut your mouth?" To which I said, "With all due respect, why do you follow me?" Which he promptly responded, "I have now corrected my mistake." So good for you for sticking by your guns, Akil. It was fun while it lasted, and have a nice summer.
We should mention that Alan Ball, Arsenal player legend, would have been 71 today. So
I loved him, Bally. He's one of my favourite players, Bally.
World Cup winner.
Yeah.
Alan Ball!
Quality, mate, quality. Anyway, my one. Yeah, you want my one?
Yes.
My one goes to a chap called Dan. You most probably know him. OPAA3. Now, Dan, he does a lot of art exhibitions. Now, they are having an exhibition at Pinebury Corner in July, and they want everybody to send in their personal photos of Arsenal. It might have been a photograph at, away in Copenhagen or Liverpool in '89, or any away game, any home game, any personal photographs, whether you're in them, out of them, or just photographs of the stadium or whatever. Send them to his Twitter account, because then he's going to put up a big exhibition at Pinebury Corner sometime in July. Send them over there. He's a great follow, by the way.
Lovely bloke. Lovely guys, yeah.
I've actually got one of me knee-deep in piss at the back of the East Stand. I don't know if he'll want that.
Hashtag piss flaps.
Hey, he's a lovely bloke, and I bought one bit off of him, and it's sitting on my unit now.
Wonderful. We should all say, before we go, our end-of-season live spectacular, as always, is coming to you
next car crash
next Thursday. I might as well just bring the drugs and the alcohol now. As far as I'm aware, Raj, you probably won't be there because you've alluded to the fact that you're done with podcasting for this season.
Yeah, I'm going to take a break if that's all right. If I'm there, I'll try and pop in, but I think it's cricket season.
There'll be a buffet, Raj.
No, I'm going to start.
Or you can eat.
Umpiring Raj this summer?
I'm at Uxbridge versus Winchmore Hill on Saturday. Yes, so Middlesex Prem. So there you go.
Go down there and get yourself a Raj Patel autograph, ladies and gentlemen.
And he will be wearing the full Reverend Raj dog collar and tails.
Yes, and come down and buy me a drink.
He doesn't charge.
Gimli, remember to remind people that the ABW Awards will be open after this podcast. We'll open them, tonight I shall launch it, but so give people details about what it is.
Did you include what my suggestion was?
No, because I would like we can have a list of the same awards every year, then go, someone won it this year, someone won it that year, and we didn't do it last year. And so I was going to keep to the same ones every year, although that was quite a good idea.
When do they go up on the website?
It's on the website now, but it's private, but I will launch it tonight. Midnight tonight I shall launch it.
So get over there and have your vote. Vote for Gimli when it comes to your favourite member of the podcast.
Oh, because last season he got the fucking hump because no one voted for him.
Because no one likes him.
I know.
No, fuck off. I finished third last year.
Even Raj got more votes than you, and no one likes him.
That's bullshit.
I did.
Oh.
I came
second. Jesus.
Don't wind me up twice.
Jeff came first, didn't he? Jeff came top.
Don't wind me up twice.
I think you come fifth, actually, Gimli, behind me.
I came third.
No, I was fourth.
Jason beat you, Gimli.
No.
Jason was third.
I got more personality in my tiny little knob than he has in his whole body.
Vladimir Putin would get more fucking points than you.
Didn't Blackburn George come higher for that appearance he did for one of the shows last year as well?
Don't you start Orange Boy at half time.
I fancy I'll be down to about 8th this year, mate, I'm telling you.
Here we go, Gimli. I'm looking at the website now. Loved the most. First place was Geoff with 29%. Actually, 301 votes. Raj with 125. Jason with 108. Me with 99. You with 82. No, Dom with 82. You finished 6th with 73.
How's Dom finished above me?
Mate,
no, ladies.
Honestly, Gim, no one likes you.
Seriously,
you're the Liverpool of the pod, mate.
I used to think, right, that we had the best listeners in the world. Fucktards, a lot of them.
Don't know you're a drunken druggie, mate. That's what it is. They don't know that kind of thing. A vote for Gimli is a vote for freedom.
Vote Gimli, vote often.
Yes.
No fucking no, what's it called,
and that's
Geoff?
a joke.
Gerrymandering.
That's a joke how Raj has finished above me. Just fucking take a look at yourselves.
So the categories we've got, lovely listeners, is Arsenal Player of the Year, and then we've got Game of the Season, Arsenal Goal of the Year, Best Podcast, Ex-Pro Celebrity Guest, there's only one in that, Rami Shaban, it's the only one we had all season, so he's won that. Best Podcast Journalist, and then Best Podcast Guest, which is every single person who's been on any of the pods this season, and then finally, member that you love the most. I expect Geoff to walk away with that.
And for the live podcast next week, I am hoping that we'll be able to include the latest member of the ABW panel. So there's a little. So hopefully, I am hoping that all of the podcast members will take part in some point, even for however brief.
And we will read these results out live during next week's show.
If you've got Whittle and Dom on there, it's going to take fucking 12 hours to finish that podcast.
we are going to be going live from 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Children in Need. It's going to go on for 12 hours.
At the end of it, we'll just have Jamie Theakston hosting it.
Right, it's 1 hour 53 now, guys.
Wrap it up, Gim.
I can't believe this. Right, so all that's left then is to thank my wonderful panellists tonight. Fife, Raj and Geoff. Danny, you have to be here, as do I. So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it Arsenal. Good night.
No, cheeky monkeys.
Seriously though, how was Dom finished above me?
Fuck knows. Gerrymandering.
It's because you're a cunt.
I'll tell you, the last 10 minutes. I've been so distracted by
I'd expect that from Davies, but not from you, Fife.
You've let yourself down. You've let the upper classes down. You've let yourself down. Eton, you've let down.
Yeah. You've let down the whole entire city of Liverpool.
I didn't know. I didn't get it in. I played football for Eton, but I didn't get it in.
Which public school did you go to?
I didn't go to a public school.
He went to one in Crouch End.
Which school did you go to?
Just a standard school in Dorset.
Is your best friend called Barnaby?
Yeah, but listen, you know that standard school in Dorset? It's fucking. It's like years and miles apart from my East End Comprehensive in fucking Bethnal Green.
I've heard that a lot of trumpet polishing goes on at these private schools. Confirm or deny?
Fucking hell.
Anyway, go on. I love you and leave it, but I'm starving.
This next bit is stuff we recorded before the pod, not after the pod, if that makes any sense, as you were. So the league's all over with the predictions league, because you're not predicting anything other than a win, are you, Geoff?
Of course.
Right, and Gimli, that means you've got to go for a draw.
Or defeat.
How many points am I behind Gimli?
Too many.
You are 3.
How you come up on the rails there, Gim? You come up there quiet, mate.
I think he's hacked the website.
Every week I've just been pulling it back. I got Aguero this week as scorer. Thank you very much.
You're running out of games, though, brother. That's the only problem.
Unfortunately, I predicted that Man City would beat us 2-0.
Danny, 5-0 Sanchez. There you go.
Maybe we should have double points last one of the season. I think we did that last year, didn't we?
Yes, double points.
Double points. It's got to be double points.
Sorry, Geoff. I shouldn't have said that.
Hold on a minute. You've got to make these rules at the start of the season. Can't start gerrymandering stuff when there's one game to go.
Gerrymandering! Vote Porky, vote often.
I'm putting my fucking Bernie Eccleston foot down and saying that it's going to be double points last couple of races.
Triple points, extra ginger.
Go on, for the excitement, we'll do it. Double points.
And also there is a little bonus in it. If you are a founder of the podcast, you get 10 points.
And if you edit it all, you get a bonus of 100. I don't think that's enough for me to win.
You might not come last now.
Dom's last. Kept predicting injuries all season. Jesus. And when he got one right, I'll give him 1 point.
Nice.
Are we all ready and good to go?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Have you unplugged your charger?
Yeah.
Let me just get a drink. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, I had a lovely caramel latte. You're very quiet, Kim. What's going on?
I don't know.
My ears have popped.
Am I better now?
Well, that's a rhetorical question, really, isn't it?
A retarded question. Do you know what, Danny? I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss podcasting with you.
Well, you won't.
No,
I've got plans.
Oh.
I was so impressed with our post-podcast, I think the kiddies call it banter. I think maybe you and me over the summer, just you and me talking shit, shooting the shit, and just release a few of those.
I was only being nice. I didn't really want to podcast with you over the summer. I was looking forward to a break.
No, I'm going to podcast with Kate. It's just going to be her crying, going, "You're so ginger."
How many dogs you got now again?
Hundreds.
3.
All
3.
Then you got more on the way, according to what you said earlier.
Oh no.
Quite possibly. See, Geoff, this is a problem, yeah?
Get a boob job with that.
I didn't think that Lucy would come into season quite so quickly. And
Poor old dog. How many litters has she had now?
7.
No, she hasn't. She's had 2.
And how many litters is she going to have?
50? Milker.
She's only allowed 3.
Fucking hell.
Then she's going to be done.
Dear.
It's 50-50 whether she is or she isn't.
Puppy farm.
I've only got 3, Geoff. You've got more than me.
All rescues.
Geoff, have you ever seen dogs shag to where they go arse to arse, where he's still inside her?
Arse to arse.
Well, they say romance is dead.
Yeah, of course I have.
I'll tell you what, I saw that really stoned and a tiny little bit drunk the other night, and I can't get the image out of my head. It was like, do you remember the cartoon program?
Twisted.
Cat Dog. That? Yeah, it's like that.
Do you ever watch a TV series called Silicon Valley?
No.
Fucking one. The third series, episode 2, one of the multi-millionaire who's bought the company. He's the CEO of the company. He's going to the stables, and his prize-winning horse is being mounted by another horse, and they show it. I've never been so disturbed in my life. Don't need to see that. And they've showed it a lot, and then back again for more.
I'll tell you what I have been watching, Danny.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
when I first watched this series, I didn't know you, but I've been watching a lot of Phoenix Nights, series
Have you?
1 and 2. The comparisons between you and Brian Potter are uncanny, I have to say. Sweet Jesus of Nazareth!
Don't touch me!
It's you, it's fucking you.
Oh, Lord. Can't buy quality like that.
Shall we start?
Yeah, let's go. I want to get Danny's intro out of the way.
You have to hurry up. It's not like Dom's on here and it's going to take 6 hours.
Explaining about hamstrings.
Yeah.
Hamstrings and Jap's eyes.
Bye, finish your caviar and let's get going.
I was just finding that photo of Minibus put up. Found it.
Is she?
Nah,
Out of 10?
not high.
No. Are
One
we
of them
talking...
not bad.
What?
Well, moving on then. We've got stuff to do.
I was going to say something then, but we wouldn't be able to use it as an outtake.
No.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast.